first I was being nice, but then like she would have a set of rules for me to follow, but then she wouldn't follow the same rules. Like for instance, she'd be like, "Oh, no friends over," but she would have friends over. I remember one time I caught one of her friends on my bed, so I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, your student stories are very like based on like not communicating and just having like petty problems. Like they put their cup on my desk and I told them like, stay away from that. Someone had the light on. The music shouldn't be on after like 7 o'clock. So a lot of it, like, initially I said it was like based on lack of communication and like just trusting, like your roommate and just asking them. You have this thing called a roommate agreement form, and it talks about like your expectations, like what you want from your roommate, and it's not just like one roommate doing that, it's both sets of roommate doing it with their RA. So that's our starting step. And usually, like, if there's issues, we do pull that out and look at it, and we talk about like, hey, these are the things you guys talk about early in the year, so where's the disconnect? And the RAs usually mediate that after they've consulted with me, and then like from there, like a lot of these things are resolved because the contract gets rewritten, or like the expectations are still like, held true to the contract, but the roommate is like, okay, like we did talk about it, so I'll kind of like switch my ways, or I'll like remember these expectations. But I do tell them like it's not worth moving your stuff like across to a different hall, because moving is not easy. Like you have to like pack all your stuff, check out like with an RA, like get your new key, turn in your old key, and all that stuff. So the horror stories that we're talking about are 4 or 5%, which sometimes result in a roommate change, or sometimes it takes a lot more mediation than we usually do.
Paul University takes precautions to prevent roommate horror stories from occurring. These precautions are not always successful.
This is when I was about to tell how I wanted to fight her. Alright, so boom. A week before I confronted her, a few days before I confronted her, me and my friends went out, came back, and I went to my other friend's room and was like talking to mingling there, because obviously, I can't bring friends back to my room. And plus, because she's sleeping, I want to give respect. So I made sure our door was closed. I went to my friend's room. Her door was cracked open, like the slightest bit. My roommate texts me, and she's like, "Oh, close your door or shut up." So because you're trying to sleep, I have to lock down all of Holgate just so you can sleep. So I got really mad. And then I was talking to my friends about it, and I was like, yo, she's really pissing me off. And they said, oh, go up to her and talk to her. I went up to her, and I was like, hey, I don't like the way you're treating me. You need to understand this is a double, not a single. This is our room, not your room. So you can't be setting one rules for me and a whole other rules for yourself. It doesn't work that way. And yeah, I may come off as being nice, but I'm being really nice because you're from another country. But you need to understand this is America. And you're going to be really pissed off and have really bad temper. And you have a really pretty face. But if I was to arrange it, it would be a problem. That's exactly what I told her. And she moved out like 3 days later. So, problem solved.
The first time I realized having a random roommate is the worst decision of my life was the second night of school. I was sound asleep in my bed, and I was violently woken by my roommate having a terrible, terrible night terror. And he actually was cussing me out. In the daytime, he'd say hi to me every once in a while, but then at night, he would start freaking out, and he would be on his damn Xbox 360 until 5 in the morning. Then he'd go to bed at about 5:30 and have night terror at 6 a.m. Even when he brushes his teeth, he violently makes this and then spits, like Jesus Christ. The climax of my hatred for my roommate began when I, one night, went out onto the roof, and I was just chilling out there, came back in and thought nothing of it, and 2 days later I got an email from Megan Johnson, Public Safety, saying that I gotten written up for something and I needed to schedule a meeting. I had no idea what this meeting was about, and Megan Johnson gave me the report on why I was written up. She told me to read through it, and pretty much said my roommate told my RA that I was on the roof. When I saw this, I freaked out and realized that my time in this room has come to an end, and I moved in with my 2 friends.
While most students at DePauw don't experience these horror stories, it's the ones that do that make history.